Welcome to our Wednesday meeting, our second to the last one before our summer break. I was going to call it the end of the year, but it's really just our summer break. All right, so announcements. Next week, our last meeting is going to be with Mike Matthews, and we thought that reading would be a good one. He's going to talk about reading with books and all that. Just reading for the summer. Sit outside, beautiful night, grab your iPad, your iPhone, and start reading. Not only read, but you can also, like podcasts and things like that through there. So Mike is going to talk all about reading through the summer. So you don't want to miss that as we take our little summer break. To find out all the information, just go to our website, naplesmug.com. And of course, we have our groups IO, and that will continue on. Our groups will continue on. Our discussions will, will continue on through the summer. So you don't have to take a break from that. All right. With us today, we have Sheeta. Would you like to add anything, Sheeta?
No, let's get to Christian.
All right. Eckert, anything you'd like to add?
Yes. I want to stop your screen share.
Yeah.
Because I want to make a few announcements. And I wanted to remind all of us that these wonderful get-togethers on Wednesdays, the main purpose obviously has become our outstanding high-quality presentations. Let's not forget that we are a club, and according to the bylaws, our club should meet once a week. And this is also the venue or the forum for some maintenance work, for some topics that really have nothing to do with the presentation in and of itself. So I think what I wanted to tell you is, number one, that we are, as Dan mentioned, we're almost close to to our present season. We have one more performance, and I think this year has been truly, like previous years, outstanding, excellent. I think we can really be proud of what we are offering to our members, what we have accomplished. It makes me personally very happy that we're able to offer these outstanding performances. And we have Christian Boyce today, who is one of the major contributors. He has given frequent presentations. We love his hands-on approach, and he has become a pillar, I think, of our organization. We're very grateful that you're here today again, Christian. Then we have one more meeting next Wednesday, and then we have a summer pause. And as Dan mentioned, the message board will not be silent. It will continue to be active. And also in the background, and I've mentioned that before, the board has really decided to, in a major way, upgrade our website. And Dan, our host today, is really the guy behind it. He's the mastermind of this new website. It will be different from, it will look very similar to our present one, but it will offer much more integration. As we sometimes would say, it's a one-stop shop. Right now, we have the website, but we have the message board, which is really separate from the website. And when you try to register for classes or renew your membership, you can do that through the website, but you will be led outside of the website. And once you're in that renewal process, it's very difficult to get back into the website. So we are going to have a fully integrated new website with great features. We have a board meeting next Monday to put the final touches on this website. We are thinking about some kind of a video guide to help our members understand the new website, how to access it. And we will discuss that in detail this coming Monday. And then during the summer pause, we will make that available to our membership. I'm looking forward to that. It'll be a great enhancement to where we are presently.
All right, we're going to get to Christian, and I'm just going to skip right over my little slide here. And Christian, tell us how we can automate our Mac. I'm all about automation, so the floor is yours.
Great. Well, thanks. As always, thanks for having me here. It's always a lot of fun to give these talks and to visit with y'all. So I think I'm going to start sharing my screen, and we'll just jump into it. As usual, we're going to do, we'll talk a little and we'll do a little. So let's see what happens here. I think this is the screen I want. We're going to find out. Okay, so what should happen here is you should see, hopefully you see something that says automation. Do we see that?
Yeah. Yes, we see that.
Yes.
Okay, good. And that's all you see, right?
Yes.
A slide. Okay, good. All right, so we're talking today about automation on the iPhone and on the Mac. And this is a topic I really like because I like getting more stuff done using this technology. And I like showing other people how to get more stuff done. And, you know, when I first got my Mac, I already had stuff to do, and the Mac helped me do a lot of it faster and better. And now that I know how to use the Mac a lot better and the phone a lot better, they continue to do more things for me, so I can get more things done and have more fun doing it. So let me kind of go over what we're going to talk about today. What are we talking about today? Well, first we're going to talk about what I mean by automation. Then we're going to do some iPhone automation. Then we're going to do some Mac automation. So the iPhone automation, we're going to use the Shortcuts app that Apple provides. And the Mac automation, we're going to automate the mail program a little bit. We're going to automate arranging windows with Keyboard Maestro. We're going to automate doing a really tough job really easily with Apple Script. Okay, so here we go. What's automation? What's automation? Well, if you look in the dictionary, you'll be doing something I didn't do. I didn't look. But according to me, real automation is when these devices do something for you without you having to push a button or otherwise intervene. So, you know, when you pick up your phone and you ask Siri to call some friend, well, that's sort of automation because you didn't have to dial it and all, but it didn't happen by itself. Well, we want stuff that happens by itself. So stuff that is what I would call sort of automation is when you have a whole bunch of things you need to do and a whole bunch of steps, but somehow you automate that so that you take one step and it triggers all the steps. So we're going to talk at the end about some sort of automation, still perfectly good that it saves you time. But the real automation is the stuff that's going to happen without you touching it or doing anything once it's set up. So that's what we're talking about. We're going to start with shortcuts. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to explain a little bit about the Shortcuts app, and then we're going to make a shortcut. So let's just see here. So we're going to learn to use it. So this is an app that, as far as I'm concerned, it's the best way to automate your iPhone. It also works on the iPad. In fact, it's a little bit easier to use on the iPad because you have more room while you're creating shortcuts. So if it feels a little cramped on the phone, it's because it's a little cramped on the phone. But we're going to do it that way anyway, and it'll just be that much easier when you go to do it on the iPad. So this is the way to go. It's an Apple app. If you don't have it, go to the App Store and get it. It's free, and it works. And another reason to use it is because Apple's really committed to making it better. So it's been around for a couple of versions of the operating system. It began life as a third-party project, but Apple bought it, and now here we are. And it'll be better in the next iOS. So it's already pretty good. So let's talk about our example today. So I want an alarm clock. So of course you can tell your phone, wake me up at 6 a.m. It'll do that. But my alarm clock, I want to do something else. I want my alarm clock to, first of all, say good morning. I want it to tell me what day it is and what time it is. I want to tell me the weather in two places I care about. One is right here and one is in Texas. So, and I want it to say these things out loud. So if I went to the App Store and I looked for an app that does these things, I'm not going to find this app. So I really need to make it. So let's make it. Okay. So I'm actually going to do it on the phone with you in a minute or two, but let's talk about what we're going to do here. We're going to start with the Shortcuts app. Yes. I'm going to make a new shortcut. I'm going to name it. I'm going to start adding steps, and then we'll test it. And the steps are going to look like this sets of steps. Okay, so it might look like a lot. It's really not a lot. And we're just going to do it. Let's see if it's time for a demo. It is. Let's do a demo right now. Okay, so let's see what happens here. Okay, so let's go find the Shortcuts app. So I'm going to look for Shortcuts here, and here it is. All right. So what are we going to do? Well, according to my directions, we're going to start with the Shortcuts app. We did that. We're going to make a new shortcut. We're going to do that. So the new shortcut gets made by that plus up in the upper right corner, that blue plus. So we'll hit that plus, and you get this. Well, this is our chance. We have a couple chances to name it. We can do it anytime we want, really, but I'm going to name it up at the top where it says new shortcut 2. I'm going to tap up there, and now I'm going to hit the rename option. I'm going to rename this. I'm going to call this thing alarm clock. And they capitalized the second word for me like that, and they corrected my spelling too. Okay, so we'll call it alarm clock. That's great. So we're done with that. So that's okay. Oh, well, I've done this before, so I'm going to do it. Let's make this one be, I'll call this the NMUG alarm clock. Let's see if I can spell this time. There we go. Okay, so now I've got an alarm clock. Okay, now, right now it doesn't do anything because the stack of steps is up there at the top where it says add action. Well, there are no actions. We haven't done anything. So what do we need? Well, first thing we need, we wanted to know what, I know I need to know what the day is and what the time is, okay? So I'm gonna add this action up here. I'm gonna tap where it says add action, and I get all this stuff. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna search. I know this has to do with the date. So I'm gonna tap in the search box up at the top, and I'm gonna put in date, okay? All right, good. So here's something called date. Why don't we just try that? So I'm gonna touch it, and there's the current date. Great. Okay, so it knows how to figure out what the current date is. But now I want to format that date so that it comes out the way I want it. So I'm going to hit this. They have a suggestion here to format the date. I'm going to touch that, and now I'm going to format that by touching the blue part that says date, and we're going to. You see where it says at the bottom, it says date format medium, time format short. They show you an example at the bottom. This is how it's going to look. It's going to be September 9th, 2023, 9:41 a.m. Great. That seems okay to me. If I wanted it to be longer, I can go like this, so I can get the seconds and the time with our time zone. But I'm going to just go with the short like this. Okay. All right. So that's all there is to that. We're just right now I know what the date is. My shortcut knows what the date is, and it knows how to present the date to me. All right, that sounds good. So what else would we need? Well, we want to. Why don't we just make it easy at first? Let's tell it to speak that. Okay, so I'm gonna go down the bottom here. I'm gonna look for speak, and there's a thing that says speak text. Let's pick that one. So you can see there's a little skinny line connecting these sections. The current date is connected to the format the date, and the speak is connected to the one above it, the format the date. So at the bottom, I mean, the script runs from top to bottom. At the bottom, it's picked up these things that are connected with those skinny little lines. At the very bottom of the screen, there's a play button, that big blue triangle. So I can play that now, and if we're lucky, we'll hear it. And if we're not lucky, that means I didn't share my screen right. We'll just try it anyhow.
June 21st, 2023, 8:47 a.m.
Okay, did we hear that?
We did.
That's awesome. Okay, so we made a shortcut that can tell you the date and the time. Great, but we wanted to do more than that, right? we want it to say good morning. Okay, so in this speak box up here, I'm going to tap up there in the speak box, and you can see there's a little flashing insertion point, but I want to be not at the end, but I want to be at the beginning. So I'm going to move the cursor to before the formatted date if I can. Let's see if I can do it. Yeah. So I'll put, all right, good morning in here. And I'll put a period. Okay. So now when we hit our little test, so I'm done here. I'll tap where it says done.
Good morning, June 21st, 2023, 8:48 a.m.
Okay, I could have done that better. So I'm going to say good morning. Then I'm going to say it's, and then it'll say good morning. It's June 21st. Okay, so that's nice. But what about the weather? I wanted the weather conditions. So let's go get the weather. So again, I'm going to have to say done. You see that the whole bottom half of the screen is taken up with the keyboard. So I've got to hit that done button to get out of that. I'm going to look for weather. Okay. So of course they know weather. So let's look at weather. And I want, I'm going to get the current weather. And I'm going to pick the location. Instead of just saying the current location, I'm going to say, I'll put in I'll put Santa Monica here. Even though I'm actually in Santa Monica, so this current location would have done it. But you never know. Okay, so now I know the weather. We know that it's going to say good morning. It's June 21st, 8:50 a.m. But then the weather is just sort of hanging out at the end. So it can't speak something that comes after in the stack. So I'm going to have to grab this. I'm going to put my finger on this get current weather. I'm going to drag it up. I'm going to put it up at the top. So now I want my speaking step to look at that weather and say it out loud. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take advantage of my little it's here, and I'm going to say it's, and now I want to put in the weather. Okay, so I want to get some weather up there. So do you see at the bottom, it says select, well, not quite the bottom, but it says select variable, and that's right above the keyboard. So I'm going to touch that because we want to tell it what we want it to say. So I'm going to hit select variable, and it's asking me, what do you want to do? Well, all of a sudden, it sort of exposes all these things. And the thing I want is the weather conditions at Santa Monica. So I'm going to touch that. Okay. And if I touch it again, where it says weather conditions, I can tell it what I want. I want the temperature. Okay. So put that away. So now, so what I have now is it's going to say, good morning. It's 67 degrees or whatever it is. And then we're going to tell it, if I can, I'm going to tell it to, oops, I just tapped the wrong place. It's hard to be perfect. These are the kind of mistakes you make. I'm trying to move my fat finger over here and make this work. Okay, there we go. Okay. And I'm going to say in Santa Monica, because that's the first one we're doing in Santa Monica. It's that much. Okay. And it is, okay. So let's play this, just see what happens here. So I'll say done. So look, what do we have here? We're going to get the date, or we're going to get the weather in Santa Monica. Then we know what day it is. We're going to speak those words in blue. It's going to say good morning, it's, and then it's going to say what the temperature is in Santa Monica. And then it's going to tell me what the day is. So here we go. Allegedly, here we go.
Good morning. It's 65 degrees in Santa Monica, and it is June 21st, 2023, 8:52 a.m.
Okay, so you might have heard that it said it's 65 Fin. That's because it's got an F for Fahrenheit, and I don't have a space before the word in. So I'm going to fix that, and now we'll just do it one more time. Okay, so let's move this over here. So there. One more time, let's do it.
Good morning. It's 65 degrees Fahrenheit in Santa Monica, and it is June 21st, 2023, 8:53 a.m.
Okay, great. So we have a script. Now, I could add the weather for Round Rock and speak that as well. I think we get the point. So now what I want to do is I'm going to say that I'm done to this. All right, so I'm done. And now in my Shortcuts app, I have this big button that says NMUG alarm clock, and I can play it anytime I want. I would just touch it. Don't touch the three little dots, but just touch somewhere else, and it runs.
Good morning. It's 65 degrees Fahrenheit in Santa Monica, and it is June 21st, 2023, 8:53 a.m.
Okay, so we've established that we can make it do it when we tell it to do it, but now we want it to do it by itself. All right, so what are we going to do? Well, we're going to go on to step 2 here. So we got the shortcut. It's sort of like this. Okay, now what are we going to do? Well, now we make the automation. Okay, so our shortcut's up there at the top, and the automation part is going to be, I'm going to go back. Sorry, let's leave it right here. So what are we going to do now? I'm going to do a bunch of steps, and on your handout, all of those steps are all laid out for you in a bunch of screenshots. So, don't worry about learning this on the first try, but just to watch someone go through it is a good thing. So at the bottom of the screen here, the shortcut screen, is a button that says automations. So that sounds like it's right up our alley. So let's do that. So I already have a few, right? These are things that happen for me, but I'm going to hit this plus. We're going to make a new one. So this is going to be a personal automation. We're not trying to turn the lights on in the house or automate opening and closing the blinds or something like that. So we're going to use the top one, the personal one. Okay. In fact, why don't I just take us through here? I'll show you the, we'll put the steps up here. So that was the first step. And now we're going to make it happen on our, when we want it to happen. So there's a lot of things that can trigger an automation. You see at the top here, we've got time of day, which is exactly what we want. But if you look at some of these other things, you can see, when I arrive somewhere, something can happen. When I leave somewhere, something can happen. When I get an email from a certain person, something can happen. When I join the home Wi-Fi, something can happen. You can do things based on the power level of your phone. I happen to have a shortcut that says out loud that it's time to charge your phone when the phone gets below 50%. Okay, so you can do a whole bunch of triggers. All right, we're going to use time of day because it's an alarm clock. So we'll touch where it says time of day. All right, now we're going to pick a time, and we want it to happen daily. Let's have this one go.
Detected at the Santa Monica front door.
Okay, there's someone at my front door. We're going to let them stay there. I'm going to make this. Okay, we're going to make this 9 o'clock.
Someone's at the Santa Monica front door.
And we're all right. Stand by. I've got it. Unfortunately, someone's at my front door, and that was not scheduled. Don't go anywhere. Dude, 1 second.
All right. Okay. Sophie, are you still here or did you leave? Let's see. Sophie's having problems with her joined it. Yes, Tom, I'll put that in the chat for you. Okay, Sophie did leave. Sophie was having problems with her sound. She could not get sound through her computer. So I just put the handout in the chat for anyone who still needs it. And while Christian is away.
He's back.
Oh, you're back. Okay, good.
All right, so that was fun. Okay, so sorry about that, but
no problem.
Life happens, doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so
yes, it does.
All right, so here we are. We're going to pick a time. I'm going to pick. I'm going to pick a 9:01 because I don't know how quickly I can do this. So because I want this to go off. So we pick a time, and if our time isn't right, we'll push it a little later. Then we say next. So up in the right corner, there's next. I want it to go off every day. So now when you look at this, you say, wait a minute, this is where we started, adding actions. Well, yes, but we did it this way, and I'm going to explain it in a little bit. But what we want this automation to do is run our shortcut. Okay, we built the shortcut, and now we just need the action, this automation to do one thing, run that shortcut, no matter how many steps there are. So we'll add the action, and when we add the action, we can search for things we want it to run a shortcut. So I'm going to type in shortcuts, and they found shortcuts. So I'll touch that. And now we'll tell it to run a shortcut, which is this one down here. Which one? Well, we got to pick. Okay, we've got to pick. So we can tap up here where it says run shortcut at the top. And now I get to pick. Okay, so we know we just made one called NMUG alarm. So I'll look for that. And there it is. So I want them to do this. Okay, that's easy. Let's say next. And we're one step ahead, and this is going to happen at 9:01. Now, at the bottom here, you see it says ask before running. This means that it would put a box up on the screen before it would run the shortcut. Well, that's not much of an alarm clock if you have to first tell it to do it. So we're going to turn that off. You see at the bottom where it's got the green switch. We're going to turn that off. We're going to say, don't ask, just do it. Okay, and now we're going to say done. Whee! Okay, so we're going to say done. I bet you thought that was going to flop down like the other ones, huh? All right, see? And so you can see here at 9:01, this shortcut's going to run. So we have 2 minutes. You know, if we were doing this live, this is where I would like tap dance or something for 2 minutes, and then the alarm would go off. So I'm a little early. All right, thank you, Sheila.
Symbolic tap dancing.
Yeah. All right, so let's see what else I have here while we wait for our alarm to go off. So, 9:01, boy, we're close. We're close. Let's talk about why we did it this way. Okay, why did I do two things? Why did I go and make the shortcut first and then go to automate it second? Why didn't I just start with automate and then build the steps there? Because we know that I'm going to need to be calling on that alarm clock script twice, right? Because I know I'm going to sleep through the first one. So now I can make a second automation and run that same script 15 minutes later. See, so I only have to write the script once. That makes sense? It did to me, okay?
And that also means you can use that script
Oh,
anytime.
it's going, wait a minute.
Fahrenheit in Santa Monica, and it is June 21st, 2023, 9:01 a.m.
9:01 a.m., okay. What was that, Shia? Shia, what did you say?
And so that also means that you can use that same shortcut for anything else.
Sure, absolutely. If I needed it to happen, it could happen. So what we have here is, you know, you build these shortcuts with sort of building blocks, right? And this was a smart way to do it because I knew I would possibly trigger this again. And when you first start out doing this stuff, you feel like you've maybe you've done it the hard way, that you keep repeating yourself, but this was a smart way. So that was good. All right, so that was that. Now, other things that you should look into. One of the steps in a shortcut, I'll show you here. I'm not gonna do it because we don't have all the time that we'd like, but if we go look at the shortcuts, now if you want to edit a shortcut, you need to know how to do that. If I touch it, it just starts playing again. That's no good. What you have to do is touch the three little dots. So I'm going to touch those three dots, and this shows me the steps. Let's say instead of just speaking it out of my phone, which is fine, let's say I want it to speak out of my iPod, my HomePod, which is on the desk here. So I can add a step. So, and that step is called intercom. Okay, so there's this intercom step, and I can say with intercom, I can tell it which HomePod I want to use them, and I have one in the bedroom and one here in the Santa Monica office, so I could pick different ones. So if I say Santa Monica, it's going to go to the one in the office and the one in the bedroom. If I want to pick one in particular, I could just pick it and say, use that one. Okay, so I'm going to, seems like I'd probably sleeping in the bedroom, so we'll put it there. So we could use the intercom to do that. So I'm going to remove that step since we've got such a perfect thing. But another thing you could do, which I actually do, is have my calendar read to me out loud as part of my alarm clock. So after it says good morning, it says at 7 a.m. you have this appointment. At 8 a.m. you have this appointment. And that's really good because, especially on the weekends, I tend to not look at the calendar because I feel like the calendar is sort of for work days. But it turns out there are a lot of good things happen on the weekend. If you don't pay attention to your calendar, you might miss a birthday party or a game or something. So having it read out loud to me in the morning to tell me these are your events is super handy. And you can do that too. So for further study, right? Now, I told you that my phone already tells me when it's down to 50%. And that means I really have no excuse for not knowing that I'm running out of battery. So you can do that too. It's just the automation is triggered by the battery level. Very handy.
Can I ask a quick question?
Of course. This is a good time for questions.
Okay, good. All right. Is it possible to make it read the notes in the calendar event?
Sure.
I'm going to have so much fun.
Yeah,
all right.
I think so because when let's say I was going to add that step. What I'll do is I'll come down here, look for calendar, right? We know it's a calendar related thing. This is always the usual routine, is that you search for the thing. It's either an app or it's a step. And I'm looking for something has to do with calendars. I want to get, I'm going to find calendar events. Let's say I want calendar events that are in the next, like right now, right? Today. Mm-hmm. So I'll say today. Okay. And then I want to get the details of those. So I'm going to make another step down here with, we'll look for calendar again. And you might have noticed this already, but all these things that the calendar can offer, one of them was get details of calendar event. Now, if you're not sure what that means, you can hit the little circled I over here at the end of it. I'll just tap that now, and it tells you that it will give you a chunk of information from the calendar event that it just got. So the way they write it, it sounds kind of techy and kind of programmy, but just trust me, it works. So I'm going to add this step. And which detail do I want? Well, now is my chance to tap where it says detail, and I'll say, give me the notes. Okay.
Wonderful.
Yeah, but it could have been, like for me, mine wants to get the title of the event. So it'll say NMUG automation class. And then if that's the title, if what I wanted was what time does it start, that'd be this. Start date includes the start time as well. Title, notes, attachments, blah, 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 blah. So this is all gettable from built-in shortcut stuff. Okay, any other shortcuts questions? That's a good question.
Sort of. John Levy, can you please, Levy, I'm sorry if I mispronounce it. Can you please unmute yourself and ask the question?
Christian, several of us were asking, could you change the voice? We just don't happen to like her voice.
Yeah, I just looked in the notes in the chat. I saw that. Yes, of course you can. Why didn't I think of that? So let's, you see the last thing I have here is where it says formatted date right at the bottom. And there's a little arrow kicking to the right. Let's just touch that. And now, instead of Samantha, I'm going to pick Aaron. Okay, let's try Aaron. Let's hear how he sounds.
Good morning. It's 65 degrees Fahrenheit in Santa Monica, and it is June 21st, 2023, 9:07 a.m.
How's that? Better?
Wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, yeah, better. But so mechanical.
What a great
Are
question.
any of them not mechanical?
Well, we're doing the best we can. It's there are good voices and there are better voices. If you like, and there are bad voices. Let me show you an example of a bad one. Okay.
Fred, yes.
Good morning. It's 65 degrees Fahrenheit in Santa Monica, and it is June 21st, 23, 9:08 a.m.
So we're not going to use Fred. Okay. So you have to sort of work through these and see which one you like. There are a lot of them. Let's try Siri voice number 4. And of course, you can change the rate and the pitch.
Good morning. It's 65 degrees Fahrenheit in Santa Monica, and it is June 21st, 2023, 9:08 a.m.
Okay. She's a little spunky for me this time of the morning. I'm going to back down her rate a little, but now let's try her one more time. If I can hit the play button, it'd be great. There.
Good morning. It's 66 degrees Fahrenheit in Santa Monica, and it is June 21st, 2023, 9:09 a.m.
All right. So there you go. So that's a good question. And now there's your answer 3 times. Okay. Any other things? Oh, the date. Someone's asked, can we change the date format to show the day of the week instead of the year? So you wanted to speak the day, like it's Wednesday. I think it said it's Wednesday, didn't it? If it didn't, we'll do that. Look, formatted date. Look at the date. We've got the medium format. We're going to go with the long format. Can I do that? I know I can get the day in there. Maybe I cannot. Well, we'll make this as long as it gets. Oh, no, I can do it. Sure. There's here you have quite a lot of control with these two, RFC 2822 and ISO 8601. There are rules for this that let you type in codes to pick up the day and the and even the day number, that it's the 182nd day of the year or something. You can do that. We're not going to do that because I don't know how, but you can do it with a little reference material. You can do it. Okay. So, all right. Anything else about iPhone shortcuts?
Gail says she missed how you named the shortcut. Can you quickly repeat that?
Well, it turns out when you're looking at the shortcut at the very top where you've got the name, there's also a little arrow pointing down. There's a menu there. You actually don't have to hit that little arrow. It's too hard to hit. Just tap wherever your name is, and then it drops this menu. And one of them is rename, which is great. You can also add a shortcut to the home screen, like just a regular icon, and you can tap it and it'll trigger from there too. But since we wanted to automate it, we don't really need to see it. So if I hit rename here to answer your question, now I can change it like this, and I'll capitalize this there. Not doing very good typing, but there we go. I need pointier fingers. Okay, there we go. All right, so that's that. Good. That's
Good morning. It's 66 degrees Fahrenheit in Santa Monica, and it is June 21st, 2023, 9:11 a.m.
Okay, I think we're done with the iPhone part of this. So let's go back to, let's see what else we're going to do. Okay, well, that was fun, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, good. And look, this is, it's a little geeky. A lot of people don't even know they have this app. And if they've seen it, they've never used it, or maybe opened it and slammed it shut. Apple does try to give you some head starts. There's a gallery of shortcuts when you open up the Shortcuts app. Sometimes you'll find something useful there that you can maybe modify and play with until you make it the way you want it. All right. So but definitely you should do it. And Apple's really leaning on that as a way to automate your iPhone and your iPad. And it turns out also talking about, well, not just talking about, but they implemented this on the Mac. But the truth is it doesn't work as well on the Mac. Okay, so even though I love my Mac and everything, and I want to be positive. I got to be honest too. It's just not as good on the Mac. So we're not even going to cover it today. Maybe next year with one more update of shortcuts on the Mac, maybe we'll we can talk about it then. You can remind me that I didn't like it before, but anyway, what we're going to do today with the Mac is we're going to talk about things that do work. Okay, so I want to automate. I get a lot of email. You probably get a lot of email too, and some of the email is missed by me because it all blends together. And so I want to highlight certain emails automatically so I can pick them out by eye just by looking at them. Also, I want to arrange my favorite apps in a nice order on the Mac because, maybe they start out nice, but you kind of mess them up. And it'd be nice to be able to get back to a nice, clean thing. It's almost like staying in a hotel and you leave, you go out to breakfast, you come back and your room's clean and the bed's made. It's like, oh, this is nice. So I want that to happen. I want my Mac's bed to be made and to be all cleaned up. So we're gonna make that happen. And finally, we're gonna do something that just seemed impossibly hard. A job that had to be done slightly differently 50 times, and we're going to do it in just a few seconds. Okay, so that's what we're going to cover here. All right, so onward. Let's do let's automate mail. So I want to show you what I'm trying to do is I'm going to try to make the mail that I get from Eckert. I want it to sort of highlight like this. It really jumps out at you when you can see it in color like that. Okay, so that's what I want. So how are we going to do that? Well, what we do is we make what's called a mail rule, and everything we need is right there built into mail in the preferences. So we're going to switch over to a different screen here. We're just going to do it. Let's look at this. Okay, so good. So here's my screen, and what we're going to do is we're going to make a mail rule. So under mail, you have settings. Now, if it's an older version of mail, like this is the very newest stuff, right? This is where are we? Ventura, system 13.4. But in older systems, it would have been called preferences, but it's all the same. So in here, these are your usual preferences, and there's some stuff over here we don't generally get to, but we're going to get to this one. It's called rules. So I'm going to click on rules. And you can see I have a lot of rules, but I have disabled all of them for us today because I'm going to make a new one and we're going to enable that one. So, but you can get an idea of all the things that I'm automating here, that I'm doing something when I get online payments. I'm doing something with deposits, this one in blue, and so on and so forth. Well, we're going to make a new one. Let's just make a new one. We're add a rule, okay? So we add this rule. When we add the rule, we get a chance to name it right off the bat. You can name it later. You can rename it later, but we're going to name it. I think a good name for a rule, if I'm adding a rule that's about Eckert, would be to call it Eckert. So I'm going to call this mail from Eckert. Okay. Now, down here where it says, what are we going to do? Well, it says from contains such and such. Well, if I knew Eckert's email address, that'd be great. I would just type it in, but I don't remember it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel this and I'm going to close this. And what I'm going to do is, this is your first pro tip here, is if you start with an email selected like this one, okay. So I click on whoops, not this one here. If I click on Eckert's email here, you see up at the top here, it's got, this is an Eckert email. This is exactly what I want. So if I start with that, and now I go to settings, and now I go to make my new rule, they already know. They're guessing at least that the from is from the registrar at naplesmug.com. Okay, so we'll call this, we're going to start out with this mail from Eckert. Okay. Okay, good. And what do we want to do when the mail comes in? Well, we want to set the color of the message. I'm going to set the color of the background, but I could make the color of the text be different, but I'm going to make the background be not gray. Let's make it purple. Okay. I can pick my own color too. You get a whole bunch of colors here, but I'm going to pick, let's just pick purple, seems nice. Okay. So all it's doing is it's saying, look, if a message comes in and it's from, if the from contains registrar@naplesmug.com, then turn it purple. Okay. So now, here's the thing. This you have to be very careful about. If you click apply here, what's going to happen is every rule that's checked, every rule that's active is going to be applied again to whichever mailbox you're in. Now here I'm looking at all inboxes, so that's a lot of messages. And if I had a rule in there that maybe forwarded messages to somebody else, they would get forwarded again. So I don't want to do that. So my advice is to not do that. Okay, don't tell it to apply the rule. Just make the rule. Just make the rule and say don't apply. Close it up, and of course nothing happens, right? But what we're going to do is we're going to select a bunch of emails. So I'll select from, say, here. This is one that's not an Eckert. No, here's an Eckert here. So I'll start here, and I'll go up to here, and I can see that by eye that I have 1, 2, 3 Eckerts in there. With those selected, I can come up here to the message menu, and I can say apply rules. And so this way, this is a more controlled way of testing it. So we'll do that, and what should happen if things worked right is, yeah, indeed, they made Eckerts purple. Okay, so that's nice. Okay, it worked when I did it by hand, but actually what's going to happen is it's going to work as emails come in. Okay, as emails come into the mailbox, they will get colorized. So from now on, I have no excuse for missing an Eckert email. They're going to be purple. Okay. Now you might think, okay, that's good, but let's make it better. Can you make it better? Can you make it so that anything that comes from Eckert or Dan or Sheeta gets purple? Yes. So what I'll do here is I'll click on the rule. I could double click the rule and edit it. And now I'm going to just call this, I'm going to call this mail from NMUG. Okay. And I'm going to say, look, if the from is this, that's great. But I'm going to hit this plus over here, and I'm going to say, you know what, if the from contains, and now I'm going to put in Dan. If it's got Dan's name in it, or the from contains Sheeta. Okay, so any of those should also be purple. So, and you notice up here at the top, I'm saying if any of the following conditions are met. Doesn't matter which one, as long as one of those is met, it's going to get purple. So now, and again, I'm saying don't apply. I'm going to, if I had one from, in fact, I think I had one from Dan this morning. Let me just look in here. Here's a bunch from, here's one from Dan. So let's go, we'll just select a few like this, and let's, we'll see if it works for Dan. Apply rules, and Dan got purple. Okay, so I know that from now on, as the mail comes in, I'm going to get those 3 people are going to get purpleized. Okay, so that's how we do a mail rule. Okay, so let's see what else did I want to do about that.
Is
there a question already?
Oh, I got lots.
Okay, bring on.
First of all, how are you getting the rules? Go to the settings.
Settings, rules.
How are you getting the rules titles to be different colors?
Well, this one's colored because that's what my rule does. It makes it colored. Okay. So if in this one here that's yellow, let me see what this one does. See, it turned it yellow too. So the rule names are different colors because that's what the rules do.
Well, that's the background.
Yes.
You have approved invoices. That's blue. You have deposits. That's blue. How do you do it? And junk for various reasons. Yeah.
Because that one is changing the color of the text to blue and not the background to blue. Very good.
Okay.
So remember when I went here to this one, I told it I wanted the background to be purple, but I could have said make the text purple. And if I did that, if I did this, you would see that the rule has changed its look here. You see that?
Right. Okay. So I get it. So it's not just doing that on the email itself. It's doing it on the rule.
It's applying it to the rule. It's sort of cute. I mean, it's just nice.
Okay. All right. Melissa has a question for you. Melissa, can you please unmute yourself and ask your question?
I'm wondering when I sync, when I've created this colorized email, will it sync through iCloud and will the colors show up on my iPad or my iPhone as well?
Well, there's a yes and there's a no. The rules do sync. Rules are applied to new messages as they come in. So, but if you colorize a message on your Mac, if it becomes purple there, even though you have the rule on the other machine, it doesn't tell, the color doesn't go with the message over to your iPhone and to your iPad. So the answer sort of is no, because by the time your second device gets the mail, it's already been processed. It's not a new message anymore. And so therefore you don't get to colorize it a second time. So it doesn't quite work as well as you want. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because really the best thing to do is to have one machine, have one machine be the one where you have the rules and it does the work. Okay, so that's kind of the way it's going to work. So if you have a machine that's on all day long, like I do, one of my Macs, that's the one where the rules happen. Is that clear? Okay, so somebody else, was it another question? There was
yes.
Okay.
Yes, Baxter, can you please unmute yourself and ask your question?
Yes, kind of the same question, but will the rules sync between the devices? So
they do. They do, except they, well, scratch that. They sync between Macs, but they don't sync between the phone and the Mac. The phone has no idea of a rule. That's why we're doing this on the Mac.
Okay. All right. And so new messages that get colored would show up colored on the iPhone if they're new messages coming into the system.
They won't, because remember the phone won't know. The phone would have to see it first, and the phone doesn't have a rule, right? So so that's unfortunate. Maybe this will get fixed down the road, but it's handy on the Mac. If you're using your Mac as sort of your main mail device, then this is great.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, more. What else? Because I've got another rule to make. If you want to see me do it again,
go ahead.
Let's do it again.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I have this other problem. So my first problem was I didn't want to lose mails from Sheeta and Dan and Eckert in all the soup, right? I get a lot of mail. So the other place I don't want to lose messages is from I get a lot of emails from Amazon, and let me see if I can find this here. I had this all set up. Yeah, okay, so we'll just switch this in here. Here's another inbox. I don't know if you knew this, but you can have multiple message viewers. So I made two message viewers, one of them that would show me the Eckert messages, and one of them that's showing me some orders. And so that's a handy thing. So if you do a search in one, you just make a new one, and you can leave that search up while you do your real work. Okay, so this is a typical Amazon email telling me that an item's being it's set up for delivery. So this one's going, as you can see, it's shipping to D. Okay, well, I'm not D, D's D. So what I do is I forward these things to D. Well, that gets pretty old. If D's going to order dog food or whatever it is she's ordering, and she's using we're sharing the Amazon account. Well, if that's the case, I need to forward these to her automatically. So let's do that. Let's do that now. So here I've got this message. I think it's, yeah, so we'll click on this and let's just make a rule that does what I need it to do. So we'll go to settings and let me see if, yeah, so go to settings and let me make sure I don't want to get ahead of our handout here. Okay, so we're going to make a rule. Okay, this rule is going to be, I'm going to call this D's Amazon orders. Okay, so first of all, if the from is coming from Amazon. Now, the thing is, Amazon stuff, there's shipments and there's orders and there's different emails. So they're not all going to say shipments. I'm just going to say if it ends with at Amazon.com, that's what I care about here. Okay, so that's the first part. And then I want it, but I don't want every Amazon email to go to her because some of that stuff is for me. It's coming here. So I'm going to hit this plus. I'm going to say if the content, find message content here, just go look, message content contains, if it says D on it, and just to be double safe, I'm going to say if the message content says Round Rock TX. Okay. Now, I don't want to say here, you got to be careful here. I don't want any of these things to match. It has to be all. It's got to all match. If all of those things are true, then we are going to forward this message to an address that we pick. Because she's got stuff there at the other office. And I can also include a note. Okay. Amazon for you. Okay. Yeah, Sheeta, you like that, huh?
Yeah. Okay.
So now this is what's going to happen. Is if a message comes in, it's going to be, it's going to be looked at. And if the from ends with Amazon.com, they're going to say, oh, well, does it include the word D in it? Does it include Round Rock, Texas in it? Then in that case, let's forward it to D. So once again, we're going to say don't apply. Someone asked again if I would explain again why I say this. Because now picture this. This one is going to forward every email that says D in it from Amazon if it's going to Round Rock. So imagine making a new rule a year later and forgetting that I already had that rule, and then it would forward these things to her again. So it's just more on the caution side here. So now this one I already forwarded to her by hand, but you can see I've done this a lot, which isn't very much fun. But now that I have this rule, I could select a bunch of these, and I could apply the rule. I'm not going to do it, but you can see I could. As a test, if you're not sure if you got the right stuff, I could have just colorized them first. Said, okay, I know I'm getting the right messages, and then I can set up the forwarding. Okay, so that's that. That's our that's the whole thing about rules. So let's get back to our keynote. Okay, so we did this here. We said all these conditions had to be met, and it did it. Okay, good. Sheeta, can you tell me how much time we have left?
You have about less than 15 minutes.
That's perfect. That's what we need. Okay. All right. So that was fun, and now we're going to arrange things. I want to have things set up all nice and neat. So here's a screen. If mine was empty like that, it'd be great. But I like having messages and notes and things. Things is a to-do list, third party. And this is what I want. I want to lay these things out like this. And I want it laid out like that when I first walk in and start using my Mac. That's what I want. If I restart the Mac, that's what I want. After I've moved things around, that's what I want. And when I plug my big monitor into the MacBook Pro, I want it to rearrange the things too, because now I've got more screen space, okay? So that's what I want. And the way we're gonna do it is with this thing called Keyboard Maestro. So Keyboard Maestro is the way for a person to automate his Mac, okay? It costs you, okay? It's not free, it's $36, but you pay once. There is a free trial. This is where you go to get it. And here's a quick video intro done by, I believe this is David Sparks. It sounds like David to me. Let's go back and play that thing. Let's see if it plays. Play it, Dave.
Keyboard Maestro is the premier automation software for the Mac. It can help you automate almost any aspect of your computer use. Creating a macro in Keyboard Maestro is as easy as 1, create a new macro, 2, add a trigger, 3, add an action.
Marcus.
Nothing to it, right?
The macro is live immediately. You can trigger a macro with many different triggers.
All right, so he goes a little fast here, so we're going to go so fast, go right past him. We're gonna do it for real. Let's learn how to use Keyboard Maestro. All right, so when you install Keyboard Maestro, it puts something up in the menu bar, and let's see if I'm still. Yeah, we're gonna start sharing this screen again. Okay, so we won't need these things. So Keyboard Maestro puts a little icon up here, and we're going to launch the Keyboard Maestro editor. So your Keyboard Maestro editor is where you do the work. Now I have to admit this is a little overwhelming at first, but you don't have to learn all of it. You just have to learn a little bit. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make a new macro. So the way you do it, and this is in your notes, we've got this in your handout. So we're going to start by making something new. You could go up here and say File, New Macro, because you're going to make a macro that's going to do some steps for you. Or you can come down here and hit this plus. This would work too. So we're just going to do it the slow motion way, New Macro. Okay, and this macro, right away it's untitled. So I'm going to name it, and then we're going to start adding some steps to it. Okay, so the name can be anything you want, but I'm gonna call this the NMUG window arranger. Okay, so right now it doesn't do anything, but it's going to do something. I'm just looking over at my other screen. I'm watching my notes go by. Okay, so we're gonna have a trigger. So the trigger is what happened. What do you do to make it happen? Well, I can say if I press a certain keyboard shortcut, I want it to happen. So that's this. This is when I want it, it'll do it. Okay, so I get to type in the hotkey. I'm gonna make something really complicated because I've used a lot of keys here. I'm gonna make it Control Option Command and 1. Okay, so if I type those keys, our thing is gonna go. But remember, I said I also wanted this to happen. Whatever this script is going to do, I want it to happen when I log in. So if I can add a trigger, then I'm going to say, look, when I look at all these things we can do. When I log in, do it. Okay, and then what else? Well, how about another one? How about when I at a certain time of day? Let's have this go at 5:30 in the morning when I'm sure not to be at my Mac, okay, unless I fell asleep the night before. And let's also have it do it one more time when I connect a certain device. It turns out that my devices, if you look at, let's see here, I'm looking for a device. No, not this device key. I'm looking for a device, this USB device. And I have a monitor that's, when a monitor is certain attached, I have one that's an LG monitor. So when I have a device called LG that gets attached, run the script. So that's a lot of ways for this script to get triggered. Now, what's it going to do? Well, all right. So now that's the hard part. Is let's actually do the work. Well, that's all sort of what we call the top half. The bottom half is down here where the actions are. And if you're wondering about this list, this list is all these things that I have Keyboard Maestro doing for me. There's quite a few. So I'm going to make a new action here. And what I want this action to do is I want it to open one of my apps, and I want it to put it in the right place. So I hit this, and the thing I want, in fact, right up here at the top is activate a specific application. But I could come up here and say something like launch, and hopefully there, well, it's not quite it. So I should say, I'll do application and see if there we are, activate a specific application. Which one? I double click this. I can tell it to activate messages. Now these are apps that are open right now. That's nice of them to have them. Otherwise I could go find it somewhere else. Okay, so we'll just say activate messages, great. Well, once it does that, I want it to reposition the window that opens up. So again, I'm going to come up here to the top, and I'm going to say I'm looking for something that has to do with window. So I type in window, and these are the things I can do with a window. I can move a window, and I can resize a window. Well, I'm going to do both. Okay, I'm going to have it move the window, and I can tell it where it should go. And if I knew exactly where it should go, if I only had one screen, it'd be easy. I'd make this 0 and 0. But I'm going to tell it actually, I'm going to tell it to record what I'm doing because it's going to be easier. So I'm going to get rid of this step. I'm press delete there. And I'm going to open up messages myself. And it's way over here. But let's say I had messages. Here's messages. Okay. So I'm going to tell it to record what I do here. Okay, watch this. So I'm going to hit record. And that's get ready. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I'm going to move this window up here like this. And I'm going to move this over like this. And I'm going to tell it to stop recording like this. Okay. So you can see that it did quite a lot here. So basically most of these steps we don't need because we only need the last one. So we moved the window to here. You see, we moved it to here, and then we resized it like that. So I'm going to take away all these other steps because the recording just does more than it needs. It recorded every little move I made. Okay, so we're saying move the front window in that's in messages. Move it up to there. That put it in the corner, and then resize it the way I did, and then we don't need this. Okay, so this should do it. So what we have here is I have this step twice. I didn't need to do that either. I could have recorded the whole thing. Okay, messages gets activated. We move the window a certain position. We resize it. Okay, so let's just try that. I'm gonna close this up, and let's run our little macro, see what happens. See if messages opens and goes to the right spot. Okay, it's open, I think. And where is it? It's not open, just a sec. There's messages. Okay, there, I should have had a window open. Okay, one more time. There it is, and there it is. Okay, so if I suppose it was over here and it was strangely sized, it puts it right there. So you can see that I could do this a few more times with other apps like notes and things, but I'm not going to do it because we're going to run out of time, and I want to show you one more thing. But you get the idea here. This is a start, and I would do the exact 3 steps again, slightly differently with different apps. Okay, so that's Keyboard Maestro in a tiny little nutshell. Okay.
Christian?
Yes.
Could we hold off on the last part for another time, and could you answer questions?
Sure. All right. All
okay.
right. Good. I'm coming back. Okay.
Right, because I don't want to rush that last part. You really don't have time.
Okay.
Giovanni, can you please unmute yourself and ask your question?
Let's put this back up. someone was asking about record, and that is down at the bottom. Okay, in the bar across the bottom where it says record. That's how you do it. Okay. Question.
All right, Giovanni, go ahead.
Mail automation, could you send all those colored mail that you have selected to a smart mailbox?
Could I move things to a smart mailbox? Well,
that's not what he asked.
What are you asking?
Giovanni, ask your question again. He wants to know, can you send the colored mails to a smart mailbox?
Well, you can send them to a regular mailbox. A smart mailbox is basically like a find, right? So you don't actually move things. But if we go back to the mail, I can do that. Let's bring mail forward again. And here's this one. Okay, so you have a lot of things you can do, like this one with the NMUG stuff. Maybe it'd be smart to put those in their own folder. That'd be a genius move. So I've lost my NMUG ones. Well, wherever they were. Let's say I want to take these Amazon orders and put them into a folder. So I'll edit this, and after they get forwarded, I can hit this plus and say move it to a mailbox like this one down here that says, I think I've got one that says orders somewhere here. So I could put them into there. So does that answer the question? I can move it. I can do more than that. I mean, I could move it. I could then play a sound after it. I mean, I used to have it saying out loud that I got a message from my mom when my mom would send me a message. So
yeah.
So thank you.
If I create a mailbox before, so I have that as smart mailbox name, then I could add a rule, probably say, add to that,
well, you don't get to pick a smart mailbox from here because smart mailboxes just work differently, but you can, any regular mailbox, yes. Okay, yeah.
All right, thank you. I'm sorry we couldn't get to the rest of the questions, everyone. We'll try to send those to Christian so he can answer them. And with that, it is 12:45. Christian, thank you for an amazing presentation, as always. Dan, all yours.
Yeah, well, yeah, thank you, Christian. Automation, as he showed, is really a key to making things a little bit easier on your Mac, iPad, and iPhone, and shortcuts. I know, take your time and watch this video again. I use shortcuts, and they are very, very powerful, but it takes a little bit to understand them. So
Dan,
start out with
we don't
something
see
simple.
you. We don't see you, Dan.
Sorry. Well, we'll, yeah, share my screen here. All right, so there we go. I didn't realize I was going to talk that much, but I just love shortcuts. And as Christian showed you, start with something simple, exactly like what Christian was doing, and then just make little changes to it. You're going to find out that these shortcuts are really, really powerful, and you can do a lot with them, especially if it's stuff that you do on a regular basis. Also, Keyboard Maestro, I'm a fan of it, and I think Christian's one that introduced me to that. So thank you, Christian. Thank you for helping me spend my money. All right, we'll wrap that up, and this video will be on online in the next couple days, and we'll see everyone next week for reading. Take our summer off and let's read some books, and Mike will show us exactly how we can do all that and get the best out of our devices to help us read. So thank you, everyone, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, Christian. It was great.
Thanks, everybody.
Yes, thank Christian, please. Thank Christian.
Learn something. Thank you.
Thank you.